I would run into is that there were families who were not taking their children 2, 3, 4 years old out to the playground, out to events, even out to the store. And I'm going, okay. First rule of living in this world is there is no separate society for a disabled person and a non-disabled person. This was one of the first lessons my mother taught me. Was early on in my life, my mother, people would tell her, take Bill away, we don't like him at the playground, we don't like him at the store. My mother would say, he'll stay, you can go. Basically, he's here, he's staying, you go. That was my mother's attitude, and that has been my mother's attitude. That's my attitude. Parents said, but what if I make my community members angry? What happens if they hate me for bringing my child out? Your child is a member of society. Your child will be a member of society when they are 5, 15, 25, 50, 75, whatever. You cannot create two parallel societies. It is ridiculous to think you can. If people have a problem with you taking your child to the store, to the park, to your place of religious worship, if you do that, tell them, you can go, they can stay, they can go. Because there is no place that a disabled person does not belong, that a typical person does not belong. My first job when I get into a family or into a community is to make sure it's understood that that child belongs everywhere everyone else belongs in. And too often I find people who are like, but Bill, people will hate us for this. People don't want to see our disabled children. Forget about it. They exist. I exist. Stephen exists. Lucia exists. Every disabled person exists, and just hiding us is not appropriate. That's number one. Number two is we build bridges in between parents and children, in between siblings and siblings, which I can tell you is not easy because I don't get along with all my siblings. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters younger than me, and I have one NT sibling who he and I don't always see eye to eye, and yeah, we work on our relationship all the time. Love you, little brother, but really. You have to work on building those relationships, helping parents understand their child, helping them understand that yes, your nonverbal child is trying to communicate. And I usually figure out how and how we build communication. The first bridge we build is in between the family members. Second bridge we build is in between the family and the community. In between, if they're religious and they have a place of worship, in between them and the place of worship, and the leaders there and the other families there. In between the school and the family, which yes, I get into arguments of principals saying, I don't want this disabled child here, and I'm like, well, I was hired to make sure that this disabled child is here, and I'm going nowhere, so we can either do this the easy way or the hard way. Oftentimes they want to do it the hard way, and I'll tell you, that's more fun for me. And then we build bridges between them and their peers. We teach them how to make friends. We teach them how to play football, or cricket, or baseball if you're an American, or American football if you're American. I mean, I've had to teach skills that I was like, wait, what am I teaching and why am I teaching this? It's like, I will go and help teach skills as an autistic mentor to other autistic youth, even if I've never done it before. And I'm like, okay, let me look at that, let me practice that before I teach it. And people are like, wait, you're willing to try to teach something you haven't done yourself? And it's like, yes, because you want your child to learn it. And they will watch me and they will learn it from me. Because most autistic children are very good at learning from observation. Even when you don't think they're learning from observation. Please ask my mother how her children learn how to cuss. That would be my father attempting to fix things, and us repeating words, which mom would come in and go, don't you ever say that word in this house. But Dad did. Never a good answer to your mother to say, well, they did it. But for an autistic, it's hard to understand. Well, if Dad can say that word, why can't I? Oh dear. Fourth rule of mine, and I tell this to all autistic children, you can disagree with your mother, but understand your mother is pretty much right in her mind, and she will get her way. And she will come to you and apologize if she's wrong. But your mother is basically God, and yes, you can argue with her, but respect her, love her, but understand she will probably think she's right, and you probably should listen to her even if you disagree, and come to some sort of compromise later. Because I've learned making your mother mad does nothing good for you. Nothing ever good comes of making your mother angry. You can make your father angry all day. He'll forget. He'll forgive you. Your mother. You know, you got into this argument with me when you were 2. I'm 42, Mother. Why are we talking about an argument we had when I was 2? Well, because you had the same attitude with me today. What? It was an argument we had when we were 2. Well, you have the exact same attitude with me today. Mister, let me tell you, I brought you into this world and I can take you out. Well, thank you for threatening my life, Mom. Love you too. I love my mother, but my mother learned very early on that she had to be expressive with me. If she's not clear in her emotions, me and my brothers, some of whom are on the autism spectrum, we'll sit there and look at her and go, what are you trying to tell us, Mom? Because that look does nothing for us. Now, if she's sitting there with her arms crossed and her brow furrowed, and what did we do to mess up? What can we fix? How can we make you happy, Mom, before our lives become a living hell? Because there ain't no hell like your mother being angry. Yes. Don't ever forget Mother's Day as an American child. Just, no. You don't do this. You can forget Father's Day, because again, Dad doesn't really care. You learn this early on most of the time. But you forget Mother's Day as an American child. Don't go home, run away from home, run out of your country, leave the planet. Your mother will kill you. There's no doubt about this. Do not forget Mother's Day. Fifth rule of mine is always, and I'm going to get up about this, because this is an important one, and I'm going to step on my hat. Of course I am. Always listen to your autistic person or your disabled person, even when you don't agree, even when it's going to lead to an argument, even when it's going to be like, but what? I want to tell you the number one thing I love about my parents. We do have our arguments, we do have our disagreements. I will not say we have a perfect relationship. But when I was 2 years old, I told my mother I wanted to do the craziest thing in the world, and then when I was 20, I was like, no. That just seems too hard. I said, Mom, I'm going to be the first disabled president of the United States who's openly disabled. Mom, okay, well, we're not sure how you do that, but if that's what you want to do, me and Dad will support you. Well, I got to be about 20, looked at American politics and went, no, don't want none of that. When I told my mother when I was 14, 15, 16, that I wanted to join Peace Corps, that I wanted to travel the world and see the world and work with other autistics, they never said no. This is a boy who has never lived away from home, has never really traveled on his own. He's lived with his cousins, he's worked on farms. He's saying he wants to leave the United States. He barely knows how to get out of our city. I won't call it a village, it is a city. But they never said, no, we don't think you can do that. No. They never said this. They go, well, we're not sure how you're going to do that. We're not sure how we're going to, but if that's what you want to do, we will support you. Now, we do have arguments sometimes where it's like, okay. Come up with another plan, Bill. The thing you're doing right now ain't working. And me, there is no other plan right now. I'm still coming up with it, Mom and Dad. Be patient with me. But they've always been supportive. They never tell me and my siblings, no. It's, well, we don't know how to do that, but we'll help you if that's what you want to do. If you want to do X, yes, we're right behind you. If you want to do Y, we're right behind you. Of course, then again, you have your people like your grandmother, God bless my grandmothers, who are like, well, could you be a priest? Or could you be a rabbi? And he's sitting here going, A priest? No. I have a photographic memory. I do not want to be a priest. Why? Well, these people come to confession, and I remember when they confessed to me. No, I have a photographic memory. Well, why did you become a rabbi? Well, that's not so simple either. These kinds of things. It's like I knew what I wanted to do when I wanted to grow up. I wanted to travel. I wanted to see the world. Because a city, a state can be so small sometimes, and there's a much bigger world out there. But each individual disabled person's dream is important to them. I mean, Stephen could have very well, he's very good at fixing bikes, but he very well could be working in a bike shop, not being a professor at Adelphi, if people had not supported him along his way of going to Adelphi University. Luciana is doing what she does because she wants to. I don't know enough about you to praise you as much as I really want to. Every dream is to each individual, every dream. I mean, I've known Stephen for a good 15 years, and there are times it's like he could have had other jobs, he could have done other things, but there were people who supported him and got him here. And you have to support those dreams and say, well, okay, how about you not just have one dream, you have 2 or 3 or 4 or 10, and we'll get you down one of those roads. But never, ever, ever say to your autistic child, autistic adult, you can't do that. First off, yes, I'm aware of things I can't do. I will never run a marathon. I will probably never be in the Olympics. I will probably never climb Mount Everest. The last one I would really like to do, but no, I know my limits. But if you come in and say, you can't own an apartment, you can't get married, you can't have children, I will tell you my biggest dreams in life. Traveling and mentoring autistic people and not losing my cane all the time, but that would never happen. My biggest dream is to mentor and help autistic people, what I've been doing for the last 10 years in Ukraine and Azerbaijan and wherever else I'll do it across my life. 2 is to get married. I have a girlfriend. Our marriage has probably been delayed due to the war in Ukraine, but 2 is to get married. 3 is to have children. My least favorite question at an autism conference, and I get it all the time, wait, somebody with cerebral palsy and autism can have children? What am I? Chopped liver? No. My parts work. I'm a normal man. I can have children. Just because I am disabled does not mean that my stuff does not work. Thank you for making this assumption about me. It's wonderful when people are like, wait, you can have children? I'm disabled, not impotent. Also, disabled people have the right to opinions, have the right to make up their minds about politics, about religion, about everything else that non-disabled people get to make up their minds about. And when we deny that right to disabled people, it is so wrong. When we say, no, you can't have an opinion because you're a disabled person. Again, I am a person. Yes, I have 2 or 3 disabilities. I have problems. But I have the right to have an opinion and say, I don't like this politician, I like that politician. I want to go to this church or this synagogue or this whatever rather than this one over here. I have the right to choose my friends, my family. Well, not really my family. You don't really get to choose your family, sadly, sometimes, because it's like, how am I related to you? Okay, yeah. You don't really get to choose your family. But I can choose my wife. I would definitely choose my child, even though other factors choose whether it's a boy or a girl. I choose my child. I choose who my significant other is if I am not interested in only males or females as an autistic. But I make the same choices as everyone else. And if somebody says, no, you're disabled, you don't get to have a child. You don't get to have a significant other. I'm going to say F you and go jump off a cliff. And I'm from the Midwest, so I will tell you F you and go jump off a cliff. If a young autistic says, I want to run a farm, okay, let's figure out how they run a farm. If a young autistic says, hey, I want to be a politician, okay, let's figure out how we, oh boy, how do we do this? If a young autistic says, I want to be the next Dr. Stephen Shore, we'll figure out how to do that. If an autistic says, hey, I want to go live on Mars, good luck to you first off, but we'll figure out how to do that. But it is very important that people with autism, people with disabilities, be respected for being people. When you sit around and say you don't have the right to an opinion, you don't have the right to think, you don't have the right to act, you are absolutely shutting everything off. And this is where I'll open it up to questions because I see people in the back who are typing me. So anybody have any questions? Other than the fact that I do, yes, autistics have a sense of humor. But this is another wonderful misconception about us. Yes, Stephen? Stephen?
Bill?
Stephen? Any questions? Any comments? I mean, it's more fun when people have questions. I love it. Yeah, I see you, you too. I see you online.
How did you make your first friend?
What?
How did you make your first friend?
How did you make your first friend?
Oh, good God, that had to do with Transformers. Had to do with TV shows we were interested in and we connected. He's still my best mate. One of my best mates I keep in contact with. My first friend, it was really over a TV show. And he and I just reconnected recently. We lost track of each other over time and over things. And his first reaction to re-meeting me was, you live where? This is the boy who couldn't tie his shoes and could not go down the stairs without tripping down a dozen flights. You live where? You do what? Bill, this is not the same boy I knew in first grade. We change, we grow, we fall downstairs in different countries with more grace than we did as a second grader. I mean, I learned how to deal with my disabilities via a sense of humor. Because if I don't have a sense of humor, well, the alternative is not pretty. So there's that. Okay, other questions? Yes.
So, I don't need that. Thanks. My son is autistic, you know, you met him.
Yes.
So, we have multiple topics running. One is advocacy.
Yes.
We never talk of advocacy for neurotypicals. Okay.
It's neurotypical. Let me understand this.
One more. Let me just add to it.
Yes.
How did you make friends? We don't talk of that for neurotypicals. So how often is all this an inclusion topic in the US? Because in India, inclusion is actually only in theory. It doesn't work in practice. So I just wanted to get your perspective, how you have traveled through that.
Even in America, you have to fight for it. You have to work for it. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to come back to something you said because you were correct. Neurotypicals never have to talk about inclusion. They never have to talk about having their voice. It's a given. Even in America where we have inclusion, even in America where I can do more than kids probably could in India, I still have to say no. I have the right to vote. I have the right to live on my own. I have the right to. Everyone's like, oh, isn't it so great? Things are better in America. Everywhere has its problems for the disabled. Because from my perspective, Israeli disabled people seem to have it better than us because they're even allowed to be in the military. I can tell you, I come from a family where a lot of my relatives are in the military. I wanted to join the military while having CP and autism. Yeah, that goes right out the window. Yet if I lived in Israel, I would be allowed into an institution with my cousins if I so wished. You have to fight for it everywhere. And that's the problem. NTs don't, I don't hate NTs, I don't want them to get this wrong idea. NTs do not have to fight for a voice, for a thing. It exists. They have the right to a political opinion. They have the right to a career. They have the right to choose whether or not to get married, to have a family, to live where they want, to go where they want, to be accepted where they want, to make friends where they want. They don't have to do this. I mean, yes, you have to work to get married. Everyone has to work to get married. This is just a fact of life. But no NT has to go, please accept me as a friend, or please accept me in society, because it's a given. It's your birthright. You don't realize how many birthrights you have as a citizen or as an NT until you deal with a disabled person who goes, that's not a given to me. That's not a given to me. I voted in every election in the United States since I was 18 years old. But people tried to tell me when I was 17, no. You have autism, you have ADHD, you have OCD, you have cerebral palsy. Why should you have the right to vote? And I basically told them, F you, I'm going to do it, and I did. I do not like these conversations because people are like, oh, you're disabled, why should you vote? Just let the rest of us decide for you. Well, I'm a member of society. I'm a citizen by birth of America. F you. I was much less kind about that. When you deny a citizen their rights simply because they're disabled, it's bad. And sometimes it's worse than for other groups which get their citizenship denied based maybe on sexuality or other issues, because it's much more intrusive. It's you can't you can't walk right, you can't speak right, you can't do this, you can't do this because of your disability. Therefore, you just automatically lose rights as a citizen. You automatically can't. We automatically count you. The other problem, people automatically count you out. Automatically, without thinking, without going, maybe I'm wrong about them. I had teachers who were very good and believed in me, many in school. But I had some who would just count me out from day one. Because, well, he has a diagnosis list as long as his arm. Why should I ever take him seriously as a student? Why should I ever take him seriously as a person? My mother's attitude rubbed off on me, but that's hard not to have happen, because my mother's attitude has rubbed off on everyone in my family. It's, look at me, I'm here, I'm staying. You're gonna have a problem with me? Fine, we'll have fun. Because I'm not going anywhere. I don't plan on going anywhere. You want to cause me trouble? I'll cause you trouble. You be nice to me, I'll be nice to you. I once told a guy who, in a bar, told me I was a disabled person, what was I doing in the bar? And I was in a Midwest state. I told him, please go jump in the Mississippi, because I don't want to throw you in there. Yes, this man comes to me. You're disabled, what are you doing in the bar? Getting a drink because I've had a bad day. Disabled people don't have bad days. Oh, disabled people don't have bad days? Do you want to hear about my day, my week, my month, my year, the last 2 decades? Disabled people don't have bad days. Disabled people don't get upset. You're all little angels. None of you ever would do things like, have sex before marriage, or do illegal drugs, or other things like normal people. No. You're all people with halos. And I'm like, I know some disabled people who hold up their halos with horns. It's because they're disabled. But there are these assumptions made. Disabled people aren't, that all disabled people are somehow, good people. No. We come in all shapes and sizes. Good, bad, ugly. I know disabled people who are racist, sexist, whatever. We come in all these things, and these assumptions really don't help us. You meet me and Stephen, you might think we're twins, we're not quite sure that we're not, or that we're not somewhat genetically related, but Stephen and I are similar, but we are also different. We're different in age, we're different a little bit in background, but we get along because we are definitely brothers in autism. And that is a thing. But that is that. I am different from every other autistic, yet I can help every other autistic because I understand them at an individual level. And it is what it is, because you have to understand. I'm trying to remember your name and I'm not. I kept calling you Daniel. What? Drew. You have to understand Drew at his level. You have to understand each and every, from what I understand about Drew, he likes writing. He likes writing about things he's experienced. He enjoys many different things. And that's important to know about Drew. It's important to know about Luciana, that she loves her performing arts, that she loves performing, that she loves doing Broadway, that she loves cats. If you don't know she loves cats, she loves cats. And there's Stephen. Stephen, who loves his giving his talks at his things. He loves hanging out with his autistic friends all around the world. And he certainly loves a good laugh or two. We've had our fair share. 10 days across Ukraine.
In a van.
In a van with my boss from Ukraine, who is also on the spectrum.
Our boss from Ukraine.
Our boss in Ukraine. Love you, Ira.
Yeah.
We really do. It's important to understand each and every autistic at an individual level, even if there are similarities, and we do share many. Many autistics share many similarities, but we still have to treat each other somewhat as individuals, or you're going to get nowhere in life. My dreams are not the same as Drew's, not the same as Stephen's. Well, some of them are the same as Stephen's, but that's from knowing him. Not the same as Luciana's. I'm a cat person, but not as much as Luciana. I'm more Transformers, Superman, Batman. By the way, Stephen Short here got the nickname Batman about 5 years ago in Ukraine. Because I would be talking to someone and they would go, "Oh, Bill, can you introduce me to Stephen Shore? He's disappeared." You know how Batman talks in the comics and the movies to Commissioner Gordon and then disappears? Stephen's done that to me. I'll be talking to someone and it's like, "Oh, Stephen, where'd Batman go?" Because he pulls this on me all the time. I'll turn around, Stephen's gone. And it's like, okay, Batman did it again. And Stephen didn't understand this reference really, and I explained it to him one day, and he goes, "Yeah, that is me." So I'm Superman and he's Batman, and it's funny as old get up because he does do that to me. I'll be standing there talking to someone, and they'll be like, I go, "Oh, Stephen, what do you?" Also, me and Stephen love our word salad. I was not sure I was not going to be giving this lecture in Ukrainian or Russian. I could have easily gone, "Привет, меня зовут Bill Peters. Меня лето 23, no, that's 32. I even screw it up. But sometimes Steve and I will be talking across languages. I'll be like, "Hey, Steven, do you know when our dinner is? No не знаю." Oh, очень хорошо, no не знаю.
Or my
Great.
loves Chinese.
Which means great. No не знаю means I don't know. So what Steven's just told me is no не знаю, and I'm going, хорошо. No не знаю. Очень хорошо. And I tried, but he and I would do this cross-language thing. And yes, the other night I had a dream where I gave part of this talk in Russian, and then I go, wait, I'm in India. Nobody speaks Russian in India. That's not good. I also speak some Ukrainian, and I will mix 3 or 4 languages at once. And Portuguese is going to end up in there.
That's
because
coming soon.
Luciana's here. You have to understand something. I took languages in school, couldn't learn Spanish. I took 3 years of Spanish. I know this much and I can read Spanish, but I can't speak it. I go to Ukraine, I'm there for 10 years, I can speak fluent enough Russian and Ukrainian to be understood in most basic situations. I can read Ukrainian, I can read a little bit of Russian, but it's hard because it's Russian. And I can read Spanish, I can also read Romanian because it's related to Spanish. I found that out when I was in Moldova. But I can learn a language if I spend time with families in the communities doing things. I can't do it in a formal setting. And yes, Stephen and I sometimes, it would just be funny because everyone's looking at us like, can you go back to English? And I'm like, well, I can learn how to speak like a Scotsman. Of all the English accents out there that I have the hardest time with, the Scotsman accent is the worst. Like, I want to go visit Scotland someday, but I do not understand Scotsmen when they speak. It's like, dear God, man, please speak English. I am. No, you're not. You're speaking something completely other than English. I can understand Irish accents, but that's because I'm partially Irish and I come from a partially Irish family. So the Irish accent comes naturally to me. However, people in Azerbaijan go, we can't understand Irishmen. I was out with some friends, some Irishmen came by, my friends from Azerbaijan. And the Azerbaijan people are looking, going, we can't understand them. And I go, they want directions from here to this one tourist attraction. And all my Azerbaijan friends look at me and they go, wait, you can understand Irishmen. I said, I can perfectly well understand Irishmen. I can't understand Scotsmen. And my Azerbaijan friends go, we can understand Scotsmen. We can't understand Irishmen. I said, okay, then I know who I'm looking for when I'm trying to understand Scotsmen. This is very much my life. This is very much what I do. I enjoy traveling the world. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy helping build bridges and communities. I've done this for 10 years. I'm hoping to do it for 100 more. Or more. Yes, I plan to live forever. Well, dying doesn't sound like that much fun. But you have to understand. You have to allow dreams and goals and things. Any other questions? Yes?
Could you talk a little bit about your work in the community in Ukraine
I can. So, my job in Ukraine was to be a jack of all trades. I would be sent to schools to teach inclusion or even create inclusion plans. And how do you do this? Other times I would go to camps and help explain things about autism to adults and youth. Other times I will be a sexual educator for boys with autism because their parents are like, we don't feel like talking about puberty. Bill, you do it because you're the guy that's hired to give talks about autism. My first talk about autism was at an autism camp in Ukraine where a bunch of mothers after breakfast cornered me and my translator, and I've only been in Ukraine 3 days, and go, can Bill give a talk about puberty to our sons with autism? I've never given a talk on puberty. There are certain subjects I can now talk about that I could not talk about then because they're taboo in American society. It was fun because literally I had to create a talk. There are sensory issues associated with puberty and autism. A lot of people don't, and I have to go over that. Other times, I'm a bridge builder between the community. I give community lectures. I help put on events where disabled people mix with whatever. Other times, I go live with a family for a couple of days to build bridges in between the families or their communities. Or I have stayed in a city for up to a few weeks or a few months. Now, I'm a little bit of an oddball. I'm an American who only really needs a bed, some food, and Coca-Cola or Pepsi. Absolutely, I have to have my caffeine because I go through energy like nothing. But, do I need indoor plumbing? No. Do I really need certain other things? Not necessarily. I stayed at some houses with some families in Ukraine where they only had an outhouse. And the father comes to me and he's like, are you good with using an outhouse? Me? No problem, sure. We'll figure it out. One time I got somewhere and the guy was like, well, we're gonna go camping and you may have to dig a ditch. I'm like, okay, if you give me the spade and show me how to do it, I'll do it. And they're looking at me and they're going, what kind of an American are you? Well, the most unusual one you've ever seen. I am adaptable. You need me to help you do things like milk cows, help with small chores around the house. I'm willing to do this. And again, I get this, you're an American. What are you? Huh? We thought Americans didn't like getting their hands dirty. No. Our friend back there can tell you Americans like getting their hands dirty. I did it all the time, but my job was jack of all trades. I would live with families for days, weeks, or months, or I would live in a community without anyone knowing I was autistic. Then I go to give one talk, and everyone's like, we don't know how to interact with somebody who's autistic, and everyone's like, and then that's when me or my translator would go, but Bill's been living here for a month and he's autistic and you've been interacting with him for a month. Some of you are close friends with him. Some of you are drinking buddies with him. You're telling me you don't know how to interact with an autistic? Yeah. Sometimes the look on their face. Wait, what? It works. But my job is all this and more. I mean, I've had some pretty ridiculous assignments where it's, Bill, I need you to go to this city tomorrow, okay? Who am I meeting? I don't know. They will yell Bill from the train platform. That's who you're going with. Ira? Yes, I know Bill. You want more information. They're going to yell Bill from the train platform. What happens if there's more than one Bill? Luckily, we never ran into that. But yes, she sometimes would tell me, we're going to go get a train ticket. You're meeting some people in this city. Get off, make sure you get off in this city. But I don't have their names. They're just going to yell Bill. And I look at her and go, great, you've done this one. What if there's more than one Bill? Oh dear. Okay. So yes, this is what I did for 10 years in Ukraine and beyond. And I am very adaptable for somebody with autism. But I believe my time is almost up because they are staring at me. They're going, you're going on far too long. What do you think you're doing? But I am open to talking to people during the conference. After the conference, I can give you my contact number. I can give you the things. If you want me to come speak, we'll work things out. But Dr. Shore, have you figured out what we're trying to figure out?
I just think we're figuring out how you can best help other people and build community.
Yes,
That's
we are.
what we're figuring out.
And me and Stephen have fun at Shabbat dinners, but that's a whole different lecture.
Oh,
A
yes.
whole different color. Because we turn Shabbat dinners into autism conferences. We turn almost any dinner into an autism conference. I don't know, that's maybe lunch. We've gone to dinners where it has nothing to do with autism. We're just there as nice little guests, and then, BAM! Me and Stephen have fun with it.
A lot.
A lot. I don't laugh as hard as I do with this guy, except for with other autistics. But when I'm with this guy, no doubt we will be laughing. And everyone's going to go, why are you being like cackling hyenas? Bill, Stephen, can you calm down? No. Any other weird questions? But thank you for listening to my talk.
All right, Bill.